and this is Professor G. Srinivas Reddy, retired Professor of Public Administration, Kakti University, Warangal, Telangana State. Now I'll come to next part of the lecture, and that's about the types of decentralization. One of the decentralizations is known as administrative decentralization. Administrative decentralization is also known as deconcentration. Administrative decentralization is different from political decentralization. The political decentralization can be known as devolution. In deconcentration, the concentration of the powers is reduced and power is distributed between many people, and this is deconcentration. There is a reduction of concentration in some levels, and when this power is given, this power is shared and it is given as a kind of original power, this becomes devolution. Now, to cite some examples which are familiar to students of public administration, the 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment Acts are good examples of devolution, the political decentralization, so to say. Under these acts, the local bodies, the urban and rural local bodies are given original powers which cannot be trampled by the state governments. Earlier it was so happening that the state governments were not conducting elections to local bodies regularly. They were not allowing the democratic element to operate, and they were often superseding the bodies and appointing special officers and bringing the local bodies under their control. They were perpetually postponing elections, and some of these things cannot happen that easily now with 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts, which have brought in political decentralization, which is, in other words, known as devolution. There can be financial decentralization also. Financial decentralization means all the budget being operated from head office or by the higher level officers. The budget is also distributed. Some budget is given to lower level organizations. Or conversely, instead of dividing the purse between the head office and lower level offices, in decentralization there can be the ceiling of expenditure by the lower level units or lower level functionaries can be raised. Say, for example, they are currently empowered to spend up to 5,000 rupees, a decision involving rupees 5,000 of expenditure, a lower level field level functionary can now take. Assume that is the position. And financial decentralization, which is also referred to as fiscal decentralization, would mean raising that limit to 10,000 or 15,000. So this is what is meant by financial decentralization. One more thing is functional decentralization. Now, instead of clogging all functions into one department, I think we have a lot of functional decentralization in Indian administration. I think students, you are aware that we have a kind of service known as All India Service, All India Services. The Indian Administrative Service is an important All India service, and the Indian Administrative Service officers are they undertake all kinds of functions. They are omnibus functionaries. All the functions are given to them. Now, this also brings in the concept of generalist and specialist. Now, a generalist is given all the functions, and it's not only the natural condition. It's not the only way administration can be done. These functions can be separated. There can be functional heads who will take decisions. But in functional decentralization, what happens is coordination is a problem. I think the concept of All India Services and an omnibus functionary, a functionary who deals with all kinds of government departments, is recommended for coordination. And coordination is also one of the principles of administration. Centralization, decentralization, devolution may be some good principles, but coordination is another principle. So in the interest of coordination, sometimes functional decentralization is not recommended. Functional decentralization really leads to the specialists calling the shots. A functional specialist can take a final decision under functional decentralization, which is not possible if all the functions are combined together. Now, there can be symbolic decentralization also. Now, sometimes decentralization without any purpose, you just distribute the powers and all that. Maybe it may, maybe unwittingly, there may be some of these things may incidentally happen, but decentralization for the sake of decentralization also can be done. One more important aspect that needs to be considered in the context of the concept of centralization and decentralization is the colonial history. I think India is a country which has got freedom from the colonial masters after a protracted struggle, and because of the requirements of the colonial rule, the colonial masters, the British colonial power has concentrated all the powers. I think the concentration of powers, either in the hands of the district collector or IAS officers or the central government being very powerful, in a way is a hangover of the colonial administration. Of course, it also did serve the purpose of national integration, but colonial dimension also cannot be missed out in this. So therefore, in a country, in a system of administration, whether you will have centralization or decentralization perhaps depends on the historical aspects too. And just one more aspect I would like to mention, that in India for a very long time there was one party rule since independence to, I believe, in the late 60s. In some of the states the opposition parties started coming into power. Till then it was monolithic power. The Congress party was ruling both at the center and in the states. And therefore there was large degree of centralization. But from this time onwards, the impetus for decentralization increased. And the result is a lot of thinking about reinventing center-state relations, refurbishing local bodies and giving constitutional status to local bodies, and so many commissions and committees being appointed. I think with the increasing democratization of society, I think in our society it's not only that the opposition parties, I think today we are in a situation of a multi-party polity from a uni-party polity. For some time Congress was the only party dominating. There was virtually no opposition even. But later, now a situation has come, there is virtually no opposition, there is a ruling party. Once again, the pendulum is swinging, but so many multiple political parties have come with varying ideologies and all that, and this is a ground for decentralization. Another factor that needs to be added to as a force for decentralization is the emergence of subaltern castes and classes. I think power was wielded by mostly the upper caste for very long time, and there has been first emergence of the peasant caste, which are not ritually upper caste, but peasant castes have captured power, and OBCs and scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, and every single section of the society in Indian society is asserting for their power, and with this there is growing impetus for decentralization. Well, let me just recap all that has been said. In this module, we try to understand the concepts of centralization and decentralization and their theoretical locale in the classical theory as principles of administration. And we have seen the definitions of these two important terms, major terms, the advantages and disadvantages of centralization and decentralization, and the factors that militate in favor or against centralization and decentralization. With this, I conclude my presentation, and students, if you have any questions, you're most welcome to ask. My dear students, I think this has been in a nutshell the story of centralization and decentralization. There is the script that is supplied to you, and the PPTs are also there, and the websites also will give you a lot of information. You are encouraged to go through all of them and engage in debates about the merits and demerits of centralization and decentralization in your own context, taking live examples from your own life situations, and that will further concretize the concepts and make you understand them more clearly.